Hello, everybody. I'm Kathy Cass-Stevens, the Marketing Director at Starved Rock Lodge and Conference Center, and we're here today at beautiful Starved Rock State Park to see the beauty of this amazing National Historic Landmark. And right now, we're on top of Lover's Leap, and I'll tell you about that legend in just a second. But as we look over this way, you'll see Starved Rock off in the distance. So if you're hiking here at Starved Rock, you always know that landmark with the flagpole on top is Starved Rock. Starved Rock is one of 4 bluffs that sticks up out of the Illinois River. The first bluff has Starved Rock Lodge on it, and that's where I work. And there we have a conference center and a restaurant and a hotel. It's a lovely place that's open to the public year-round. The next bluff is Starved Rock, and Starved Rock got its name many, many years ago, and it's an Indian legend about 2 rivaling Indian tribes. One had a tribal council, and they thought that the other had killed their chief, and they went for retribution and revenge. Now, that's an Indian legend that has been passed down through the years. Back then, and even till still today, Indians don't keep written records, so that's why it's a legend. Now we're on the third bluff, and it's called Lover's Leap, and that is also a legend about 2 people who fell in love, and they were from different tribes. Their parents didn't want them to be together, and supposedly they leapt to their death. That's a sad story, but right over this bluff are many, many happy stories. 2.1+ million visitors come here per year, growing numbers every year, to see this amazing destination that you just don't expect to see among the flatlands and cornfields of Illinois. We have waterfalls, seasonal waterfalls that are just stunning, canyons, bluffs, flowers, wildlife, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. In a minute, we're going to head that way to the next of 4 bluffs here, and that one is called Eagle Cliff. And so let's head out to Eagle Cliff right now. So Starved Rock, like I said, has many fun things to do, whether you're at the lodge or hiking in the park. But as we hike on this trail, let's talk about the first thing we should always talk about, and that is safety first. Safety is number one when you're hiking because we always want everybody to be safe and be aware of the park rules, like there's no wading or swimming or rock climbing here at the park. So that's what we always want to pay attention to. So now we're heading down this lovely boardwalk. As you can see, we're not on a mud trail, we're not on a sandstone trail, we're on wood. And so that makes it really nice for hiking. But just so you know, it doesn't mean that you can bring strollers here because there are a lot of stairs along the way. So you want to be careful when you're hiking. And if you're hiking with children, always take them by the hand because it is a little bit dangerous when you're off the boardwalk. Now we have many, many things to see and do here. So if you're familiar with the state of Illinois and you know that the state, let's take bird, the cardinal. You'll see a cardinal here at any point in time. Maybe you'll see one here when we're looking out at this overlook. Out here, as we look out, we see Leopold and Plum Island. We're going to get a better view of that in just a minute when we get a clearer view from Eagle Cliff. And here, right in front of us, you'll see trees like oaks and maples and pines. And this is a great place for outdoor education, where you can teach your children the state tree of Illinois, which is an oak tree. You might see a white-tailed deer.
We actually have our first question.
What's our first question, Dan?
Erica asked, how many miles of trails are there at the park?
13.4 miles of hiking trails here at Starved Rock State Park. And then we have a park nearby called Matheson State Park, and they have over 3 miles of hiking trails there. One of the most fun things to do here at Starved Rock is called a mega hike. We have 2 per year, one in the spring and one in the fall. And our great activities director, Edna Doherty, created the path that takes you the best way. So this is one of the best ways. We're walking in shade. We're walking downstairs whenever we can instead of having to climb upstairs. So that's what I recommend. So hiking here, if you've never been here before, you really should begin with a guided hike. We have guided hikes from the lodge every single weekend year-round. We also have hikes that leave from the State Park Visitor Center on key weekends during the year, like the First Day Hike, January 1st, Eagle Watch Weekend, Fall Colors, Waterfall and Canyon Tours, and Wildflower Pilgrimage Weekend. We also have hikes that team up with our trolleys. As you can see, as we walk along the path today, there are a lot of people hiking here at Starved Rock. So you want to be careful and courteous to those who are hiking around you, and always stay to the right so that people who are hiking can pass you on the left. And that way, the slower hikers keep to the right. Between now and where we get to Eagle Cliff, I just want to tell you, too, that whether you're hiking spring, summer, winter, or fall, you should always have some really important things in your backpack, and that's why I brought one with me today. So I have water, insect repellent, sunblock, some tissues, a first aid kit, right here in my Hike It Like It backpack. So you just never know what you're going to see. But like I said, when you have children with you, it's always important to bring treats for them, and that's why I'm getting to this educational opportunity that we have here at Starved Rock. We've talked about the state tree being an oak, and we've talked about the flower. It's a violet. And so we have all those things right here at Starved Rock. Now here we are at Eagle Cliff, and you never know what you're going to see when you get up here. You might see a very beautiful big bird. Are we going to be lucky, Dan?
I don't know.
Yes. White pelicans. There are hundreds and hundreds of them here. And where we are right now, we're overlooking the lock and dam at the Illinois Waterway Visitor Center, where barges lock through the dam and pass from one part of the river to the other. And there's a barge locking through right now as we speak. They actually separate. You can see the tug going through first ahead of us, and then his cargo is behind him. And then in the foreground, you'll see these white birds. They actually have a wingspan of over 3 feet. They have big yellow beaks, and they're called pelicans. They never used to migrate through here, but now they do because of Hurricane Katrina. They were thrown off course to the next natural bird highway, and this is called the Mississippi Flyway right here. And so we actually see these pelicans here in the spring and the fall, but it's almost summer now, and they're still here, so I think they like it here. And pretty soon, we may see some here year-round. That would be really cool. This, where we're at right now, is called Eagle Cliff, and needless to say, it's one of the best places in the park to see eagles. Let's just walk over here and show you this panoramic view of the amazing Illinois River Valley below. This is one of our favorite places in the park. In fact, we consider this to be the absolute best view in all of Starved Rock State Park. Here you see the whole wide waters of the Illinois River, and over there you'll actually see eagles in flight. You can see eagles in flight year-round. And maybe, Dan, we'll get lucky enough to see an eagle today while we're here. Does anybody see one? Needless to say, too, this is absolutely gorgeous in the fall. When these trees turn colors, you just see a palette of yellow and brown and orange. It's absolutely wonderful.
Question is, when is the best time of year to see an eagle?
The best time of year to see an eagle is in the winter, usually after January, between January and February. That's why at Starved Rock Lodge we have eagle watching trolley tours. Dan, what is that?
It can't be.
It can't be? It can't be? It is. Bald eagles are actually here year-round. We have some nesting pairs right here in LaSalle County, and that's where we are today. So if you're looking for a fun day trip, come on out to the Illinois Waterway Visitor Center. That's some of the best educational programming available, too, on water safety, as well as talks that they give people on how the waterway works and how barges lock through. It's very interesting. So once again, we're high atop the Illinois River on Eagle Cliff, the fourth of 4 bluffs that stick up out of the Illinois River. And now what we're going to do is walk down to Wildcat Canyon and see what everybody comes to Starved Rock to see, which are our waterfalls. Now let me make it clear, the waterfalls are seasonal and contingent on rain. Luckily, this spring we've had a lot of rain, so the waterfalls are active even today, and it's, mid-June. So that's what I like about coming to Starved Rock. You can come here every day. It's different every single day of the year. When you come in the spring, the waterfalls are prolific because there's a lot of spring rain. When you come in the summer, everything's all greened up. Obviously, the fall colors are stunning, but the surprise in the winter is when these waterfalls freeze. We have 18 canyons here to see, and about 7 or 8 of them have waterfalls. And the more rain that we have, of course, the more active these waterfalls are. So let's get back to the wildlife that lives here. We have beavers, fox, we have white-tailed deer, raccoons. There's a bunch of wildlife that lives here. What we want to be aware of, though, is don't feed the wildlife. They love French fries, but don't give them to them. Okay, so if you're hiking with a dog, please bring water for your dog so that your dog stays cool on a hot day like this, and never leave your dog in the car. All right, so we're going to head down now and hope that we see some water when we get there. I've worked here at Starved Rock for 10 years, but what I wanted to tell you is that my grandmother worked at the lodge and my mother worked here too, and when I was in college, we had our botany final here. When you look around in these woods right here, you could see during the course of April to October over 200 different kinds of wildflowers. That's pretty amazing. So this place is a lesson in botany, geology, geography, and many other interesting subjects that you can teach your children about. So if you're looking for a great day trip, I think Starved Rock is a great day trip. But what I want to tell you is that it's more than a day trip, because now that we have all these guided tours, trolley tours, guided hikes, you have to stay the night. So if you come, we recommend you stay at Starved Rock Lodge, and that's where I work. So now once again, we're heading down to Wildcat Canyon, and we're on a boardwalk. This makes the hike much easier, and it's cool and shady here. We want to teach you how to go away and down the stairs so you don't have to climb up this, which is the backside of Jacob's Ladder. Sometimes it's really fun just to stop and listen to the wildlife here in the park. You can hear birds tweeting. There are over 200 different birds that migrate through here during the year. And so if you're into birding, I hear that it's one of the fastest growing leisure time sports. And all you really need to be a good bird watcher is a good pair of binoculars. And if you don't have binoculars, you can rent them at the visitor center at Starved Rock State Park. Just leave your driver's license behind, and they'll share the binoculars with you.
And we actually have another question. Guy is talking about the beavers, asking if there's any problems with dams.
No, I don't think there are any problems with dams. In fact, the Department of Natural Resources takes as good of care of this park as they possibly can. And if that becomes a problem, they take care of it. But in a minute, when we get down here, we might actually see some activity from some beavers. But we're just respectful of all the wildlife that lives here in the park. So one of the best things that you can do when you take off to go hiking here, follow the signs and know that the trail markers here face due north. The maps face due north. And if you're taking pictures in the park, please be aware that we don't want to post pictures of people doing things they shouldn't be doing. Please don't go rock climbing or swimming in the park. But please do share your pictures. We have a Snapchat filter. Hashtag it Starved Rock State Park, Starved Rock Lodge. We would love to see your pictures on social media. So below us now as we hike, we have sand. We have beaches in our park, although there's no swimming here. The sand that's below our feet wasn't brought in here by a truck. This is sand that naturally occurs here from Starved Rock. When it rains, the water runs off, and it makes these nice sand-covered paths. The sand that's here is an extremely fine grit sand, and it's called St. Peter sandstone.
How do you know that?
Now, as we hike down this trail here, you can see the river right in front of us. So we know that we're heading toward the river trail, and that's one of the best ways to get to the backside and into Wildcat Canyon. The Illinois River has a lot of barge traffic on it. At any point in time, you can see barges, pleasure boats, kayaks, paddle boats like the Spirit of Peoria. At one point, I saw 5 different boats at one time on the river. So it's a really important place for people to have fun and also to move cargo like grain and coal. So now we're swinging around to one of the most beautiful places in the park. I just love this part of Starved Rock. When you look up here, you can see the sandstone and see what Starved Rock is actually made of. It's a strata that has happened over years and years and years of compression. And the way that the glaciers form these canyons here is just a geological miracle to me, because we're surrounded by flatlands and you just don't expect this kind of topography in the middle of Illinois. So that's why if you've been to Chicago and you've seen the sites that are to be seen in Chicago and you're looking for a great destination beyond Chicago, Starved Rock State Park is a wonderful place to visit and stay the night. So as you can see, dogs are allowed in the park. We just ask that you keep them on a leash that's 8 foot or less. And of course, when it's summertime, bring water for your pets so that they don't get thirsty. And bring water for yourself. I would recommend 1 bottle of water for every hour that you're going to be hiking, because you drink a lot more than you think, and there's nothing worse than getting dehydrated when you're way out here and not having water with you to get back.
Oh, dude.
So it's 83 degrees and sunny here today, but here where we are, look at that dam, that beautiful, beautiful rock and moss-covered walls. Another thing that's here are the ferns, and they're some of the oldest plants in the park. So this is a wonderful way to learn about the plants and wildlife that live here. Leaves of 3, however, if you don't know this, leaves of 3, let them be. Here's a columbine, wild columbine. So leaves of 3 means poison ivy, and that's the plant you don't want to touch. This is one of my favorite rocks in the whole park. Doesn't it have such character? I just love seeing, it's almost like this rock can talk. And I want to tell you that this is absolutely beautiful year-round. So if it's 20 degrees and sunny on a winter day, don't let that stop you from hiking. It's every bit as fun to come out here when it's snowy as when it's sunny.
I saw a bird.
She saw a bird. So school groups love coming here. If you're in charge of your field trips for your schools, you can call our activities department and we will set you up and take your whole school group on a guided hike. And we can also fix you up with box lunches. If you've never been to the Starved Rock State Park Visitor Center, that is an absolutely wonderful place to begin your tour here. There are 2 videos that are free and played on demand, and they tell you about the history of the Civilian Conservation Corps. In the 1930s, they made Starved Rock Lodge and a lot of the pathways that we walked on and shelters that are here. And the history of the Civilian Conservation Corps is something that's really worth learning about. It's an amazing time in American history, and they also built the Starved Rock Lodge, which is just an amazing structure on its own. So begin your tour at Starved Rock State Park Visitor Center and get oriented with the park and the rules of the park so that you can hike safely and enjoy your trip here. Okay, so we're going to go over this bridge, and hopefully just around the corner we'll be seeing Wildcat Canyon. I hear the birds chirping behind me, and I wish I were better at identifying what those birds are, but we have over 200 kinds here, like I said, and it's just an amazing thing to see. Orioles, those are orange birds. There's different kinds that you can see, and we have field guides that can teach you what kind of birds we have here. So as I was saying about the state tree, the oak, the state animal, white-tailed deer, state flower, violet, you could teach your children all of these things, but do you know the state snack? It's popcorn. So you might want to pack some of that into your backpack as well. I think a lot of people have the perception that getting from place to place here takes all day. But Edna, who helped me today, I really appreciate her help, hiked this path to make sure we could get you there in time, and she made it there and back in a very short period of time. So we're with you for 30 minutes, and we're going to do all this hiking in just 30 minutes time. So you can do it too. When you come here, if you're curious, the hike from the lodge to French Canyon and out to the top of Starved Rock is only an hour round trip. It's a wonderful hike to take with your family. You know, there's nothing like disconnecting from technology and connecting with Mother Nature during summer with your kids. Everybody's so connected to their cell phones. And we do have cell reception here from many points in the park. But it's a really neat way to relax and enjoy the great outdoors in summer. So bring your children and come on out and enjoy the beauty of this park. Now I see a yellow tree up here. I wonder if this is the one. Yep, see? This is where we can see where a beaver was active in the park. See right there, Dan? That little stump that's standing there alone? The handiwork of a beaver. But it's really neat as you stand here along the Illinois River, you can see where a beaver chewed away the bark on this tree too, Dan. Look at that. And at certain other points, they'll actually take a tree and cut it in half with their teeth. But as you stand here, you can see the view of the Illinois River for miles, and it's a stunning view. It's a beautiful day to be outside. And what's our question now?
Linda asked if there are boat rides you can take.
There are boat rides during the season. There's several different kinds of boats that you can go on. The Belle of the Rock, when it's in service, offers land and water cruises and dinner and evening cruises. The Spirit of Peoria is a paddle wheel boat that comes up here several times a year from Peoria. And then in LaSalle, there's an 1848 replica canal boat that takes you on a mule-pulled canal boat tour to teach you the importance of the history of water through the years and transporting goods and people over water. Okay, so now here's our first glimpse of Wildcat Canyon.
And we have another question
what's
that
that?
popped in.
Okay.
How many people each year travel to Starved Rock?
How many people each year travel to Starved Rock is the question. And the answer is over 2.3 million people per year think this place is worthy of a trip. And let me tell you, it is. It's amazing from beginning to end. I love working here. So here we are at Wildcat Canyon. You want to stop and listen and see if you can hear any water? I can hear some water. And we're going to go right in there and see what's happening. Okay, so now as we just turn that corner, you see the sign says Bluff Trail. So that's where we're going to go. And this time when we're going to Wildcat Canyon, we're coming in from the river trail when we just hooked up with the Bluff Trail so that we can avoid climbing upstairs whenever possible. You do have to do a few stairs, but it's not as bad as if we climbed a taller staircase. So as you can imagine, Starved Rock State Park is a wonderful place for photographers. Even if you just have your iPhone, it's a wonderful place to take pictures. And wait till we get around the corner and see Wildcat Canyon. One of the interesting parts about Wildcat Canyon is that in the winter, when the water freezes, you can ice climb here. Now you have to be a certified climber, and you do have to register with the park. But it's wonderful as a spectator sport just to come and watch people and their skill. Oh, I can hear the water. It's going to be great, Dan. As you descend into the canyon, the temperature drops about 10 degrees, so it's very cool and restful in here. I would say at this time there are like 30 people here enjoying the beauty of this natural wonder. And as I said, we have 18 canyons here. About 7 or 8 of them have potentially active waterfalls. What do you think of that, Dan?
Give them the view.
Wildcat Canyon. And what is really wonderful, let's go in a little bit more, Dan, so you can see. There are 2 overlooks from which you can view this canyon. One is on the left and one is on the right above us. It's about a 125-foot drop to get into Wildcat Canyon. Once again, I want to remind you that there's no swimming or wading or rock climbing in the park. Please follow the rules of the park when you're here. We want you to be safe at all times. Take a look at that. You just don't expect that in Illinois. But, you know, because it's seasonal, we just want to tell you it's not like we can turn the waterfalls on with a switch either. So you have to pay attention to the Facebook page. If you like us on Facebook, we give you pictures of the waterfalls and the conditions in the park if there's flooding or anything. There isn't right now, but it's a really good way to stay connected with us at Starved Rock Lodge and Starved Rock State Park.
Somebody's asking if there's any campsites nearby as well.
There are campsites here. The Starved Rock Campground is just a few miles away from the lodge itself, and you book your reservations there through reserveamerica.com, and we have several other campgrounds in the area. So yes, camping is very popular here. Yeah, one of the things we don't want to show in the park is people climbing or swimming, because when you climb on these rocks, they're made out of sandstone and you can slip and fall and really get hurt. And as you can imagine, you saw how we hiked in here, how difficult it would be to get you safely out of here if you'd gotten hurt. So always observe safety at all times. Don't rock climb, don't swim. Just enjoy the beauty of the park, take pictures and share them with all your friends. And speaking of sharing, you know, we love sharing pictures of Starved Rock on Instagram, Twitter. We have a Snapchat filter, as well as on Facebook, of course. So please enjoy the beauty of all that's here at Starved Rock, and know that this is just one of several state parks here in LaSalle County. Matheson State Park is nearby, and you can check over there for Cascade Falls and Matheson Lake Falls. Buffalo Rock State Park is beautiful too, and Illini State Park. So if you come here to Starved Rock and traffic is an issue, check out the other wonderful attractions in LaSalle County. If you like historic homes, visit Hagler Karras Mansion or Reddick Mansion in Ottawa. We have wonderful gardens in Streeter at Weber House and Garden. So there are many wonderful things to do to actually have fun, and it's way more than a day trip if you come to Starved Rock area. enjoy all that there is to do here.
We have a question. What type of wildlife should you expect to see when you visit?
There's an abundance of wildlife from raccoons, fox, white-tailed deer, squirrels, rabbits, eagles, of course, and birds in flight. What do we have here? Snakes. We don't have any poisonous snakes in the park. People have asked us that before, and the reason we don't is because our rocks face north. They're cold, and they're covered with moss, and snakes like hot and dry conditions. So be careful. They're out, we do have snakes, but no poisonous snakes.
Next question is, do we have any primitive, secluded campsites available as well?
Well, the most primitive you would have would be at Hickory Hollow Campground, and those are available through the LaSalle County Visitor Guide. So check out enjoylasallecounty.com, and that will take you to all the campgrounds in the area. There are push pins on a new map that we created, so you can find different kinds of lodging. We have cabins at Starved Rock Lodge. We have Kishwa cabins. We have hotel rooms, of course, and then camping. Yes. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this tour of Starved Rock State Park. It is one of the true gems of Illinois, and if you've never been here, please come. And if you've been here before, please come back. We'd love to see you again. And please share your photos and video with us, and then we'll share it with other people. If you want to share the video that we're making today, we're going to be sharing a link to it, so that you can share it with your friends from all over the world and encourage them to come and see this one-of-a-kind destination in Starved Rock in LaSalle County. Just absolutely beautiful.
And we still have 3 minutes left if anybody wants to ask any questions.
Okay. Well, a lot of times people ask me, what are my favorite things to see and do in the park? And I think that if you were going to come here on a day trip, what you should think about is the high and the low. And that's why we chose to do this with you today. Wherever you go, you've got to walk to the top of Starved Rock. Due to our time limits today, we did not walk to the top of Starved Rock. But what you want to remember about that is there's a boardwalk that's a circular boardwalk on top of Starved Rock. And so you can get a 360-degree view of the entire area and really get your bearings for the area on top of Starved Rock. And then once you've seen the bluff views, the amazing Illinois River Valley around you, you can hike down low into the canyons, which is where we are now, and see this flora and fauna and waterfalls and birds that live down in here. And it's just such a really different look and feel and temperature than what you'd see up on top when you're on top of Starved Rock. So I encourage you to come out and experience all of this. It's really closer than you think. We're less than 2 hours from Chicago, just 90 minutes from Joliet area. So come on out and explore all there is to see here. It's just a really neat place.
If you had 3 canyons to take somebody to, what canyons would they be?
Well, we're in LaSalle County, so the number one choice is LaSalle Canyon. It's a box canyon. That means it's long and slender. Wonderful photography, and you can walk behind the waterfall, but stay on the marked trails at all times. Another one is this one, Wildcat. It's the deepest drop in the park, about 125 feet. And then the quintessential canyon to me is St. Louis, because it blends the most wonderful look at the waterfall, the canyon, the boulders, the ferns. So it's a nice combination of both. It's a standalone canyon on the west side of the park. Yeah.
And we're going to wait to see if we have any other questions. What's your favorite time of year to check out the canyon?
Well, you know what, I have to say I like the spring when they first come back to life, because we've been in the Illinois inside all winter long, and when that first canyon starts greening up and water starts flowing, that's my favorite time of year to get out there. But don't mistake it. I love to go out in the winter. I love to see it in the fall. And the middle of summer, when we're lucky enough to have water, we have waterfalls.
All right, Kathy, I think that's all of our time for today. We would like to thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us. I hope that I get to do this again. Join me on July 1st when we tour Starved Rock Lodge and see all that there is to see at another great place in Illinois.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.